Hi everyone, I'm Andy Hui, a genetic counselor at the Center of Assisted Reproduction and Embryology, the University of Hong Kong, Queen Mary Hospital, and Kwong Wah Hospital. Here, I'll introduce and explain a genetic test in our center that you may be interested in, called expanded carrier screening. The content includes background and indication, basic human genetics and genetic disorders, an introduction of expanded carrier screening, what you need to do if you are interested in the test, and finally Q&A. When you and your partner are planning for pregnancy, you may be worried that your future children will have congenital disorders that you are not aware of now. According to World Health Organization, about 3% of live births in East Asia are affected by congenital disorders, and about 30 to 40% of them are due to chromosomal abnormalities, single gene disorders, or gene predisposition. A child can be affected by a genetic disorder even when there is no family history and both parents are healthy. Expanded carrier screening can be offered to couples who are planning for pregnancy and have not done any genetic carrier screening before. The test can provide additional genetic information to assess whether a couple is at a higher risk of having a child affected by single gene disorders. Based on the genetic information, we will have to think and decide the reproductive treatment options that are most suitable to you. Next, I'm going to briefly introduce the basic human genetics and different genetic disorders. In our body, genetic materials are made of DNA in the form of 23 pairs of chromosomes. There are more than 20,000 genes on these chromosomes. By producing proteins, genes provide instructions and tell our body how to grow, develop, and function, such as our height, hair color, food digestion, and release of hormone. If there are DNA changes that affect the function of a gene, our body may develop a genetic disorder. Currently, more than 10,000 single gene disorders are identified in humans. Each of us receive half of the genetic materials from our parents. So for each gene, we have 2 copies. In some situations, if one copy of a gene is affected and does not work properly, this does not affect your health because you have another normal copy of the gene. So you are said to be an asymptomatic carrier. However, if both you and your partner are carriers of the same genetic disorder, then your children will have 1 in 4 or 25% chance of being affected. Both males and females can be affected. These are called autosomal recessive disorders. Some common examples include thalassemia, non-syndromic hearing loss, and spinal muscular atrophy. In other situations, if a healthy woman carries a DNA change in a gene copy on the X chromosome, there is 1 in 4 or 25% chance a child will be affected, and the affected child is usually a boy. This is called X-linked recessive disorder, and examples include Fragile X syndrome, some forms of hemophilia, and Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Generally, we do not know that we are carriers unless we do carrier screening. Previous research has shown that up to 78% of individuals are carriers of at least one genetic disorder, and an individual may carry an average of 2.8 DNA changes identified in carrier screening. Therefore, the goal of genetic carrier screening is to identify the carrier status of you and your partner, which allows for more personalized reproductive planning. Many international guidelines state that genetic screening can be offered to couples before or during pregnancies. Also, guidelines recommend proper pre-test and pro-test counseling with sufficient time before pregnancy. So what do you need to do if you are interested in the test? First, we will discuss the information of carrier screening with you at our center after you watch the video. We will collect your medical and family history as well as informed consent for the test. You will then follow our instructions to provide your saliva samples and pay for administration fee in our center. After about 1 month, your genetic report will be ready, and you will need to make an online payment for the test. We will also schedule a post-test counseling session with you and your partner to discuss the result, especially if the result suggests that you are a high-risk couple. A negative result means no significant DNA changes are identified in any of the genes tested in your sample. This significantly reduces but not eliminate your risk of being a carrier of the tested conditions. There is still a small chance that you carry a DNA change that is not detected in the test. Meanwhile, a positive result means that significant DNA changes are identified and you are a carrier of one or more genetic disorder. We will discuss the reproductive methods that can reduce the risk of having affected children in high-risk couples. In rare situations, the DNA changes also have direct impact to your own health. If you and your partner are interested in carrier screening, please let our doctors know in your next medical consultation. Also, you can send us an email, hkuivf@hku.hk, to let us know your interest in the test. Alternatively, you can choose to undergo expanded carrier screening using other accredited laboratory, or choose not to undergo carrier screening and continue with your initial pregnancy plan. Finally, you can visit our official website and other pages for further information. Thank you.